What's going on, golf addicts? It is the Tour Junkies After Dark, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We are the Tour Junkies. I'm your host, DB. I got Pat Perry with me. It's the Fortinet Championship 2021 from Silverado in Napa, California. It's a par 72. It's a shorter course. We get into all the details about the course breakdown, what you need to know, key stats, all that stuff in our own podcast that you can check out on the Tour Junkies YouTube channel or wherever you listen to podcasts. But tonight we're going to spare you from that, and we're just going to get straight into the picks, the betting outrights, and the top 20s that you need to know for the Fortinet. It is the first event of the brand new PGA Tour 2021-2022 season. And if you're wondering, well, hey, the last season I feel like just ended. Yes, you are correct. It just ended like 2 weeks ago. We had a 1 week break. Here we are. Welcome to the PGA Tour. It's never ending. So we've got about 8 events to cover for the remainder of 2021. So we'll be with you there. The Ryder Cup is next week. And then after that, you've got 8 events in a row. It's going to be, there's a money-making opportunity here, Pat. It's a long shot season. A lot of the guys who just graduated from the Korn Ferry Tour and got their PGA Tour card, you got a lot of rookies, a lot of unknowns, and it's possible to take advantage of the market a little bit here. So I'm excited about it. Definitely excited about the Fortinet Championship. Now, Jon Rahm opens up as your betting favorite at 3.5 to 1, which is insanely short for a golf tournament. Even someone playing as great as Jon Rahm has been playing in a 156-man field event in golf, it's really tough to pull the trigger on that. I will be playing him in DFS. I will not be touching him in any sort of a betting sense. But as we look at those shorter numbers, Pat, is there anyone that you're going to be touching? And I know you like to get touchy-feely, but anybody...
I do like to get touchy-feely, but I'm not getting touchy-feely with anybody in this...
I'm not either.
In this field. I mean, I like Kevin Na, or in this range. I like Kevin Na, but I don't like him at 16 to 1. I think that's still a little too short for him. I don't want Webb at 14 to 1. Certainly I'm not going to bet Rahm. I mean, Willie Z scares me. He's at 22 to 1. So anybody really shorter than 40 to 1, I don't really like to bet. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and normally we have at least 1 or 2 names in this range we like. Now, we have had plenty of podcast juice tonight. We just recorded 2 of our own shows, and I got a nice little vodka soda mix here. I know you've been sipping on some beers. What do you got tonight? You got rosé already?
Rosé. I just switched to rosé.
So, I mean, but we're not that hammered that we feel like betting, some of these guys at these numbers. It just doesn't make sense in this field. You've seen first-time winners. You've seen Korn Ferry Tour graduates win this golf tournament. In the last 5 years, here's some winners for you. Stuart Sink, the old man, won at 200 to 1 last year at 21 under. Cam Champ won the year before that at 150 to 1 at 17 under. Kevin Tway won at 66 to 1 at 14 under. Brendan Steele won back-to-back years at 33 to 1 and 50 to 1. Emiliano Grillo, I don't know why I'm having problems here. Emiliano Grillo won as a Korn Ferry Tour graduate at 50 to 1. So a lot of long shots here. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're not going to bet Rahm, then just skip down the betting board and move on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I'm going to start at around 40 to 1 with a few guys that I like here. And if you'll allow me, I will start with them. And one is Harold Varner III at 40 to 1. I love him this week. He is a guy who has been hot lately. We saw him finish well on the PGA Tour season last year. He's a scorer. He can make a lot of birdies, which I think you're going to have to do on this course at Silverado, the North course. And so HV3 at 40 to 1, I think is a good number there. And then right below him, I like Sebastian Munoz at 45 to 1. He's a guy that, look, I think in DFS, I'm not sure I want to play, but I do like him to win this tournament. And here's the thing about Munoz. He's a great ball striker. He's a guy that's not like everybody, nobody ever wants to play him. But I just love his scoring ability. He's pretty accurate off the tee. I just think Sebastian is a great play this week at 45-1.
I love the Harold Varner call at 40-1. That's about the shortest number I'm willing to look at. This feels like a golf tournament where he can get his first victory. I like that. Another guy, a young player who I think could get his first victory here is Maverick Mcneely at 60-1 on DraftKings. He ended the season pretty solid. 16th at the 3M Open. He finished fourth at Harbor Town, finished runner-up at Pebble Beach. Both of those are shorter courses. He's an excellent putter. He's a decent ball striker. I think Maverick Mcneely at 60-1. He's been in the final couple groups on a Sunday and been in the hunt. He's got that experience of what it means to be late on a Sunday chasing his first PGA Tour victory. In a golf tournament like this, in a field like this, if Rahm is off, then I think he can be one of those guys up there near the top come late Sunday. And then another kid who's done the very same thing as I just said about Maverick Mcneely, and also not quite sealed the deal on his first PGA Tour victory, is Taylor Gooch, who does check some boxes, okay? 9th in this field in the last 24 rounds in strokes gained approach, which is basically week to week the number one stat that is the most predictive, okay? And he's a good total driver of the golf ball. What does that mean? Well, that means he hits a decent amount of fairways and he hits it a decent amount of distance, right? He's not like a bomber.
A decent amount of fairways and a decent amount of distance. I like that.
That's what it is. He's not a bomber. He's not going to overwhelm you with length, but he's also, able to get it down there a little bit, right? So I think Taylor Gooch is interesting at 65-1. He's also a pretty solid putter. I mean, other than that, I'm ready to pound the triple digits on DraftKings.
Yeah, I think the triple digits are where it's at. And here's the thing that we've seen a lot in these early, this wraparound season tour, whatever you want to call it. We see a lot of guys that are first-time winners. We've seen that in the past. A lot of guys coming off the Corn Ferry Tour. This is why we call this long shot season is because that's what we see in these events. But I will say this, a couple of guys that are experienced that I like. It's 70-1. Pat Perez is at 70-1. I think that's a good number for him. And then also Chez Reavie or Chez, whatever you want to call him. Chez Reavie.
Up to you.
70-1, I think, is also a good number. He's a great ball striker. This is a course where you really have to be well on approach, and the greens they're quite undulating. They're fast. You got to hit them in the right spots. He's always so good at that. So I like Chez Reavie there at 70-1 also. And then I'm with you. I think after that, you just pound some long shot numbers. And if we give you a long shot number, let's just say I'm giving you a 110-1 guy or a 150-1 guy.
Okay.
I think it only makes sense if we don't say the number, if we don't say what the top 10 number or the top 20 number is, you look at that number also and bet there, because if you don't want to bet them outright, then I think it makes sense for any of these guys to do a top 10 or a top 20 number.
I like that. I think at 80-1, I got to go with Aaron Rai. Now he's going to show up as a Corn Ferry Tour graduate, but he's a European Tour staple. The guy's got a lot of talent, and he has shown up in big events, majors, WGCs. The guy has serious game. He also has iron head covers. But he has serious game. We just saw him finish 19th at the Open Championship, finished 26th at the St. Jude, which is a no-cut event, limited field, but still, he does okay at these events. So I think Aaron Rai is one that could definitely do some damage at that 80-1 number. Other than that, I'm dipping into the triple digits. So I'll kind of kick it off there if you want, Pat. There's some names at 130-1 that I definitely think have some win equity. Hudson Swafford and Sepp Straka are two names that have played well late into the year. Hudson Swafford is one. I mean, he's a PGA Tour winner. We hit him last year in the fall at 150-1 when he won, I think, the Bermuda Championship. he found a little something in the last couple of weeks of the season, and he's at 130-1, 5-1 as a top 20. Hudson Swafford. Sepp Straka has not landed that first PGA Tour victory, but I feel like he's on the brink. He played really well at the Olympics. He can go really low. He's a long hitter that can take advantage of these par fives. He's a decent putter. He doesn't really have a lot of glaring weaknesses. And I think on this golf course where the rough isn't super penal, he can use his length as an advantage. And he's 130-1, 5.5-1 as a top 20. I love that number. Luke List at 150-1.
Luke.
He's like an older Sepp Straka, right? Okay, like
he is like an older Sepp Straka.
Been on tour for a while.
Maybe in a little bit better shape.
Doesn't usually close the door, okay? Doesn't close the door on a victory, but hits it a long way, takes advantage of the par fives, a decent ball, good iron play, and he's just a halfway hot. I mean, like lukewarm putter situation from running away with a PGA Tour event. In a birdie fest where the winning score is going to be like 19, 20, 21 under, Luke listed at 150-1 as an outright, but check this, 4-1 as a top 20 on DK. There's some value there, so I like those three guys. I'll let you kind of button it up.
A couple here that I like. I like Kiradek Rat. We just saw him finish second, almost get into a playoff at the BMW Championship just last weekend over in Europe, which was a fantastic field. And I do know he's traveling overseas and whatever else, and people question whether or not that's a thing, but I don't agree with that. I think that he could have a good week. I like Kiradek. And then another guy that's a Corn Ferry guy that won twice on tour last year. I saw him in person here in Savannah because he won the Club Car Championship, and that is Adam Svensson. He is at 150-1. If you don't like that, then you know what? Just look at the top 10. He's at 13-1 there. I think he has a good play. He won twice on tour, on the Corn Ferry Tour last year. Great ball striker, great greens in regulation, good putter. Everything about him, his game is perfect to do well this week, and I think he's going to do well on tour. I think he's a star in the making. So I like Adam Svensson at 150-1.
A few top 20s for me that I didn't mention. I don't know if I said this. Aaron Rise 3-1 as a top 20. I like that.
Love Aaron.
Adam Shank is 4-1 as a top 20. Shank is a ball striker. He had a good end of the season. Could have won his first PGA Tour event late on a Sunday towards the end of the year. I can't remember the event, but didn't quite close the door. He's 4-1 as a top 20. He's interesting. Swafford and Straka, who I just mentioned. Swafford is 5-1. Straka's 5.5-1. Let's see. You mentioned a Corn Ferry Tour guy. Did you mention? No, I guess you did. You mentioned Novak, didn't you? Or Svensson?
No, I didn't talk about it. No,
I kind of like Novak too. I think he's 9-1. No, 6.5-1. I like that. He's a good young player. Does everything well. Putts really well. Needs to hit a few more fairways. Other than that, he's good. Anything else?
I think that's all I have. DB.
Okay. Yeah. It was a good, we had a great time on our DFS show. We had some laughs. We had some good picks. I think we broke down the golf course. If you want to hear a little more about that, we talked a lot about these rookies, these Corn Ferry Tour graduates and PGA Tour rookies. We talked a lot about that. So, listen, give the DraftKings channel a thumbs up here on the video. Subscribe if you don't already. We'll be back every week that there's a PGA Tour event. We'll be here, Tour Junkies After Dark, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. May your screens be green. We're the Tour Junkies. See ya.
Out.